Hello and welcome everyone, my name is Sam. I make waifu over meta content. In case you're new to my channel, depending on who you ask, waifu over meta can mean a whole bunch of different things, but the main thing that it's all centered around is the waifu. And I know everyone is waiting for the highly anticipated Raiden Shogun, but today I wanted to make a video on the original Electro character that was a fan favorite when the game came out, and that is Keqing. For this video, I will be showcasing you how the Shimenawa set versus a 2-piece Thunder Fury plus a 2-piece Glad look like on Keqing, as well as a damage comparison between both sets. And by the end of the video, you can have an idea of what artifacts and playstyle you want for your Keqing. I will not be covering physical Keqing, but if you're interested in an updated Keqing guide, let me know in the comments and I can work on one. But without further ado, let's get into the video. This is going to be the build we're going to be using for Keqing. We're going to be using the Mistsplitter Reforged just because it's a beautiful weapon that I like on Keqing. Lucky for me, when I switched to the Thunder and Fury artifacts, they're pretty much identical to my Shimenawa's Reminiscence ones. So this makes it easier for us to compare builds and damage. So when we look at the Shimenawa's Reminiscence artifacts, we're going to be losing 15 energy every time we use our elemental skill. So how does that look like on Keqing? Well, actually, there's two instances where this effect can take place for Keqing's elemental skill. One of them is when you hold the elemental skill and she's aiming where to throw her lightning stiletto. And it can also take place whenever you actually unleash the elemental skill with her slash. So what this means is if you don't have enough energy for the first skill, but somehow you get elemental particles right after casting the lightning stiletto, when you do the slash, that means you can actually proc the Shimenawa's Reminiscence artifact bonus. That's pretty neat because say we have Beidou with a Favonius Lance, we can actually cast Beidou's elemental skill and then switch into Keqing, throw her lightning stiletto, lose the energy, but then gain energy after we cast it, and then do the Keqing combo with the elemental skill and then into lightning stiletto like you're seeing in this clip right here. And then here's just an example of how you can take advantage of this during a fight, whether it's an open world or in the abyss. Now the only thing with this is we need those full elemental particles from Beidou's elemental skill, meaning a perfect counter. If we do not have a perfect counter, then we're only going to be getting 2 elemental particles from her elemental skill. And if your Keqing's energy recharge is too low, you're not going to get the burst like we just did in our little combo. And just to show you all proof, here's the difference between a Keqing with 109 energy recharge and a Keqing with 125% energy recharge.
Incoming! Nowhere to hide!
Now the only thing that sucks is that we cannot get any elemental particles while being in Keqing's elemental burst. I don't know why this is a thing. I do this with Mona all the time. Once she's out of her burst, then she can accept elemental particles. I guess it's just a thing for Keqing, and that kind of sucks. But it is what it is. So with our 2 builds, now I'm going to be showing you the damage comparison between our elemental burst, our elemental skill, and our charge attacks. And then I will tell you the percent difference between the 2 sets to see how much damage you're losing or gaining if you switch, depending on what artifacts that you choose to put on Keqing.
Speed of light! Don't blink! Don't blink!
If we add up the total damage from both sets, we can see that the percent difference is around 6.57%. And even though it's not that much, being a Keqing main and knowing who the Keqing mains are, you should know that they're one of the most freaking optimal people in all of the Genshin Impact community. So if there's a way for Keqing to be more optimal, you bet your butt they're gonna freaking do it. Now, when we put it into practice, for example, attacking the Primo Bishop or even going into Spiral Abyss, depending on your team comp and rotations, sometimes it's just not optimal to just keep spamming Keqing charge attacks, especially when you need to cast elemental skills or burst from your other supports. I know I'm not the most optimal Keqing player, but I'm going to show you the difference in time of me defeating the Primo Bishop with the 2-piece Thunder Fury and 2-piece Glad versus the 4-piece Shimenawa Reminiscence.
Nowhere to hide. Speed of light. Written in the stars. Incoming.
Eyes on me!
Barbados. Found us. Decided by destiny. Nowhere to hide. Incoming. Back off! Delves into destiny.
To ashes!
Written in the stars. With sword comes shadow. Hey!
It's gonna roughly be around the same time, but like I said, I'm not the most optimal Keqing player, so maybe you could do it faster with the Shimenawa's Reminiscence. But the whole point is that depending on your supports and your team comp, this percent difference is not gonna make that much of an impact for your gameplay. My final thoughts on Keqing using the 2-piece Thunder Fury and 2-piece Glad versus a 4-piece Shimenawa's Reminiscence. I think Keqing is one of the few characters that can actually take advantage of the set and use it optimally. Because Keqing has a low costing elemental burst, it's pretty easy to have Keqing's burst uptime pretty consistently, even though we're losing that 15 energy from the Shimenawa's Reminiscence. Now the caveat is trying to be optimal and using the correct supports to get those energy particles on her at the right time. If you love being optimal and you find it rewarding, I say go for it. But if you're more on the casual side, especially like me, I just like clicking elemental burst after elemental burst, not having any downtime, just spam, spam, spam. So personally, I would just keep the Thunder Fury and the 2-piece Glad. You're not losing on that much damage, and it just depends on your team comp at the end of the day. All I wanted to do was just show you the numbers and show how Keqing can take advantage of this set. If you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate a like and subscribe. You guys are the best. I love you all so much. Remember, waifu over meta, and I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy the rest of the clip.
I'm going in! Written in the stars. Nowhere to hide. Don't blink. Stronger than I thought. Shadows of... Nowhere to hide.